New tonight, we're getting answers about a controversial future ICE detention center in Surprise from that city's mayor. Welcome to 12 News at 6. I'm Troy Hayden.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick is live outside of Surprise City Hall, where the city's mayor took questions about his recent meeting with Homeland Security officials. And Bram, he had a lot to say.
Yes, he did. These massive ICE detention centers have been flashpoints around the country. The mayor filled in some blanks for reporters, but critics weren't pleased. Mayor Kevin Sarter and 4 other city officials met 2 weeks ago with the DHS official overseeing the build-out of facilities for migrant detainees. The top takeaways: the Surprise warehouse purchased by ICE will see about 250 detainees within the next 3 to 6 months. Total beds are capped at 542. Also, Sarter said he's working on a memorandum of understanding to put on paper a DHS commitment to keep ICE away from schools and other sensitive sites and to reimburse the city for lost revenue.
From my perspective, it's constant communication. That's the only way we're going to get through this as a city, is to make sure that we're in contact with them. If we have any questions, they get them answered. I think to speak to some of the things that I mentioned, I'd like to get those in a memorandum of understanding or agreement to make sure that what they said in that meeting was followed through for the city of Surprise.
An MOU isn't worth the paper it's written on. It's a memorandum of understanding. It is not a commitment. It is not a promise. It is not a law. It's a promise waiting to be broken.
Opponents of the ICE facility say they hope Attorney General Chris Mays will sue the feds. Mays' spokesman tells 12 News she's considering all available legal options. Mayor Sarter will share his update on the ICE facility with residents of Surprise at the next City Council meeting on April 7th. Live in Surprise, Bram Resnick, 12 News.
So the bottom line here, Bram, that we learned today is 3 to 6 months, there are going to be people inside those buildings, and possibly about 250.
That's what Mayor Sarter learned in Washington, D.C. Folks there with him confirmed that for us. I should point out that is much less than what we thought. The numbers we thought would be in the facility is rated for 1,500 people. So in some ways, the capped rate of over 500 is smaller than what was expected. But again, critics really don't, there's not a lot of trust in the feds right now among the critics. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, Bram, thank you so much. Live out in Surprise.
Thank you, Bram. A lighter note here. Tonight is the Arizona Diamondbacks home opener. They're looking for their first win of the season, taking on the Detroit Tigers.
That's right. And if you don't have tickets to tonight's game, we've got you covered. The game is airing right here on 12 News. But right now, we want to head out to 12 News journalist Chase Golightly. He is out at the ballpark with fans who are geared up and they're ready for the game. And Chase, how are fans feeling out there this afternoon?
Creepy, I'll tell you, it feels like a party inside Chase Stadium. Chase Field. You had a DJ playing music. Inside is packed. Everyone excited for the home opener, hoping the D-backs get a win. You can just see a large crowds coming inside. And with a couple hours before the game, you can see people are waiting in line to get some merch. That's where Chris's wife is right now. Chris and Violet are waiting outside, excited for the game. So, Chris, I got to ask for Violet, is this her first D-backs game?
It is not. She went to a few last year, and this is her first opening day.
First open, so she's an expert in the D-backs.
Very, yes.
You want to grab the microphone, don't you? I don't blame you.
She's the star.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Let me ask you, so not the first D-backs game, but you're here for the home opener. How good does it feel to be back in Chase Field?
It's the best. Baseball season's the best time of the year. Opening day should be a holiday, in my opinion. So we're happy to be here.
It'd be a good holiday. So we're here, a little bit of time before the game starts. Of course, like you said, your wife is in the team shop. What else do you guys plan on doing before the game starts?
Yeah, we're going to take a couple laps on the concourse like we usually do, see what Chase Field has that's new this year, see if we can catch a little batting practice and find our seats and try to keep her busy, yeah.
Very cool. We got a future reporter right here, I think. Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking with us today. Have fun at the game. Thank you so much, Chris. Enjoy. As you can see, a lot of fun for the whole family. It's packed, and also right where we're standing is right next to the food. I'll tell you that Sonoran dog is looking very good. I think right after we send it to Mark and Cam out on the field, we might stop and get some of this food out here. So we'll go ahead and send it to Mark and Cam, who are currently on the field.
All right, Chase, thank you very much.
Of course they're going to go eat.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, that's the way they roll. That's the way they roll. Hey, listen, the D-backs really need to win. They are 0-3 coming into their home opener tonight. against the Tigers. It wasn't so much the relief pitching that let them down, although it wasn't great. It was that they could not hit because they were in some very close games.
Yeah, Mark, that series against the Dodgers, when you look at it, they had a lead in every game. But outside of one bad inning with the bullpen, like they're in it, and you just got to produce more on the offensive side, especially late in the game. They know that coming home. We talked to manager Torey Lovullo, kind of an emphasis coming back here against the Tigers. Listen, but it doesn't get any easier. So you open with the Dodgers on the road, you got the Tigers here in town, then you got the Atlanta Braves in town this weekend. The schedule's not going to lighten up by any means. D-backs got to start picking up some wins to start the year.
They got to start swinging the lumber. It's going to be amazing tonight.
Yeah. It's been amazing all day.
Yeah, the first pitch tonight is going to be thrown out by a young man who has overcome such tremendous odds. At 3 years old, he was diagnosed with a staph infection. Doctors ultimately had to amputate both of his legs, but today he is thriving in Little League Baseball, so he has really made a tremendous comeback. Joe Dana had a chance to talk to him.
The stage is set. Monday, 7:01 p.m. Bowden Baumkirchner, the pride of Lake Havasu City, will get a hero's welcome.
He is a hero to many. We have received many emails and phone calls and letters over the year.
We first met Bowden when his family was still trying to figure out how they'd make it through a battery of surgeries and setbacks.
Just this innocent little boy.
What has this journey been like?
Long. Just had his 22nd surgery in December. They did reconstructive tendon surgery in his hand, his right hand over here, that he's going to pitch with.
Show me your pitching form.
He has a great arm. He just had the surgery, so we've been practicing a bit. He throws the baseball essentially with his 4 fingers, right? So how he does that is amazing.
Come on, Bowden.
Bowden has become an inspiration.
He does modeling and he's done commercials and all this stuff. It's super special that he is shining his light bright enough that others are seeing it.
Bowden, I got to know about these running blades. I mean, that is a sharp graphic. What do you like about baseball?
It's fun and active.
Your favorite player is Corbin Carroll.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you both bat from the left side of the plate?
Yes.
And he gets around, man.
Bowden recently showing off his skills in the national spotlight.
When he's playing on the Little League with his prosthetic legs, and both sides of the team will cheer for him. I mean, the camaraderie there is fantastic.
Doctors gave Bowden a 1% chance to survive when the staph infection was at its worst. His parents credit the miracle of medicine and nonprofits for differently limbed individuals for helping to get him where he is today.
Wrong way, dude.
There's so many good warming foundations and people that make it all worthwhile and handle it with us.
Through it all, Bowden's older sisters keep little brother grounded.
Don't mess it up, Bowden.
Are they trying to make you nervous?
Yeah. But there's going to be people on the field?
There will probably be some players on the field, including maybe Corbin Carroll.
Monday's ceremonial first pitch, another milestone in this improbable story of heartache, resilience, and heroism.
It's taught us never to give up. He's just built that way, so it's natural to him, but to us, we're learning from him every day.
Should be a good pitch, hopefully.
But here's the thing, you won't need to worry about our runner on first.
How excited are you?
Super excited.
Joe Dana, 12 News.
Go Bowden. What an inspirational guy coming back to the game he loves, and tonight throwing out the first pitch.
And Mark, it's going to be so cool to watch him get on that mound in front of all these people. It's just going to be a really special night. D-backs and Tigers right here on 12 News. First pitch coming your way at 7:10. Michael Soroka taking on the future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander right here on 12 News. More from the ballpark right after this.
12 News Valley Cam, sponsored by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical.
This is kind of cool because we talk about how great all the time Diamondback fans are. And there's a program called Diamondback Fan for Life. And this guy and this woman, the Ashners, 2002, you're born on opening day. And since then, you're a D-backs fan for life.
Yep, been every single year since the year Acta was born, and basically as long as I can remember. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool. You know, it's honestly a little family tradition, and we all look forward to it every year.
Marcia, did you have any idea when you delivered that this was going to be the situation?
No, it was a complete surprise. He was born like around 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I got a notice that he's on the news, and I'm like, why is he on the news? Oh, because he's Fans for Life. So it was a really, really cool surprise for us.
Good planning, man.
Good planning. Here with Dr. Ross. Doc, tell us a little bit about this program.
Yeah, it's been a great partnership between St. Joseph's and the Arizona Diamondbacks for almost 30 years now. Any child that is born on opening day at our facility, that baby and that family are now entitled to free tickets on opening day for the rest of their life. So it's really a great connection to not only our hospital but the Diamondbacks and really making fans for life, like Sebastian and his family here.
And so you've seen a number of families, right, get opening day tickets?
Absolutely. I think tonight there are going to be almost 100 people here in attendance.
Who knew?
And it's just
all those years
it's a great
ago.
program.
Mark, all those years you had kids, not one of them on opening
Sebastian,
day.
introduce the rest of your family.
So this is my little brother Santi, obviously my mom Marcia, and then my dad John.
John?
Two others that are not here. Shout out Sophia and Stefan, but they're not here right now. So
John, he did pretty well. Picking his
4 for 4. Yeah, we did well. And I actually, I planned it out 9 months to the date. I knew exactly what I was doing.
Not everyone can pull that off.
Well done, Dad. Well done.
Yeah.
What's it like to be here at the ballpark with your family, sir?
Every year it's been great because we went to the World Series a couple years ago, and we always make this event and a few games during the year. We had some season tickets for a few years, and it's just the Fan for Life program is what did it, period.
So as a fan for life, what are your feelings about this year's team?
They better win a World Series because they
I
disappointed
like
me a
that.
couple
I like
years
that. You
ago.
tell the Valley that, Sebastian. You tell the Valley that.
Yeah.
Doctor, how about yourself? Big fan?
Oh, big fan. We're ready to win the World Series, and we've got fans here that are ready to do it.
So do you tell families this on opening day? Sometimes you get to break the news to them at all?
It's hard to coordinate that, you know. Maybe when a mom goes into labor, hold off for a couple of hours, you know. That's right.
If you wait just a few more hours, you can get opening day tickets for the rest of your life.
Squeeze.
That might not go over well.
No. I think babies are going to come when they're going to come. But yeah, just applaud the Diamondbacks for a really great program.
All right, so is there any fighting in the family between you guys or any sibling rivalry?
Oh yeah, for sure. My brother and I were always arguing, but it's all love.
I beat him up in jiu-jitsu now, though. So that's
Are you a jiu-jitsu guy?
We both do it together. It's our little thing that we do together. So yeah.
And then, so a lot of noise in the house.
I can still take him with my hands tied behind my back.
There you go, Dad.
See, Dad, he doesn't. They don't lose it. They don't lose it.
All right, so we continue counting it down to the D-backs and the Tigers here. It's the Chase Field home opener for the D-backs. Are we going to break here?
No, you're going back to us.
Or back to studio?
We're going
Okay.
back to them.
Who knew
How about
that
this family,
program?
Troy?
I know.
Yeah.
Tickets for life.
I'm trying to think of all the D-backs fans right now who want to have a baby and they're trying to time this all out. They're like,
You just have to time it like Marcia and John, and you'll be good.
Yeah. And like you said, squeeze. I can't believe you said squeeze, Mark.
hey, Mark has delivered a baby before, right? You've delivered a baby.
Many.
So he knows all about
He
it.
knows what he's talking about.
He knows all.
By the way, if you need a home delivery, let me know.
That's your side hustle? That's something. All right, Mark.
We're gonna
Thank
squeeze
you.
it back to you guys. All right, there we go, guys.
Ooh, that took a weird turn.
I know.
All right, Lindsay.
Yes.
All right. Get us out of this,
that
please.
did get so weird.
Mark's going to be your midwife. He knows when to squeeze. But not to squeeze.
Yeah,
All
or
right.
you can just get induced, on opening day and just make it happen if you're within a week or so. All right, let's check out our forecast because we actually have some showers in the forecast. In fact, we're seeing some rain right now in far eastern Arizona. Clouds have overtaken the state. It still didn't hold our temps back today. We made it up to 95, but we are tracking a few showers down near Casa Grande and also a couple out toward the White Tank. Some very light rain. Our chances here in the valley tomorrow very slim, but Wednesday morning is our shot at some showers. Notice the wind icons up north tomorrow. It's going to be very windy, gusts up to 45. Cooler temperatures up north, still warm across the lower deserts. As we go into tomorrow time-wise, late afternoon, we'll start to see some showers develop in northern Arizona. This is 12:30 in the morning Wednesday, so a little bit more rain on radar by that point, and by 7 a.m. Wednesday, we'll have some showers over the lower deserts, and that rain will continue to push eastward by noontime, and then we dry out by the late afternoon. But rain totals here in the valley, very, very light, but there could be a few spots up in the high country that see anywhere from a half of an inch up to an inch of rainfall. It'll be extremely localized, but the valley, 1/100th of an inch. That's what that one particular model, but we'll likely see anything less than a 1/10 of an inch. But we do have 3 days with temps in the 80s, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we heat back up again for the weekend.
News at 6. We are coming to you live from Chase Field as we continue to count you down to the home opener right here on 12 News. D-backs and Tigers first pitch coming your way at 7:10. The D-backs pregame show coming up here on 12 at 6:30. D-backs coming back home after being swept by the Dodgers. Tigers in town, Jake. You got to start stacking some wins now, all right? Listen, the schedule doesn't get any easier, so you got to win some games at some point.
Man, their early season schedule is so tough, and it seems like we're having this conversation these past few years with the D-backs. How do you balance not wanting to hit any panic buttons and reinvent the wheel, but also wanting to have some urgency and saying the wins in March and April count just the same as the ones in September and October?
And as we've seen in years past,
These games matter.
These games matter because they've come down to just a few that they've missed the playoffs in back-to-back years.
And look, the D-backs did not play terrible baseball against the Dodgers, but in a division with the Dodgers, it's going to have to be better than that. We talked about the pitching earlier on today on 12 News, but the hitting, the base running also has to be better as well. D-backs made 4 outs on the base paths against the Dodgers and didn't score a run in any of those games and after the 4th inning, so there's blame to go around all over the place. Torey Lovello said he's not hitting any panic buttons just yet, but also wants his guys to realize the intensity and gravity of these games.
We can do one of two things. We can panic and change everything because we're 0-3, or we can lay on the foundation that we have built very slowly and we know that it's good and we stand on it at the most critical times. Whether it's good or bad, we don't come off of that. So I think we're firmly standing on that. I praise the guys that they played a real good series. Unfortunately, we came up a little bit short, but let's identify why it happened and let's get better every single day. That's our mentality.
And to make things even tougher for the D-backs, right as they were releasing today's lineup, they announced that Pavin Smith is going on the IL. He's been battling elbow problems all spring long, and apparently the pain was just too much to keep going.
It is Michael Soroka making his D-backs debut, taking on the future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander for the Tigers. First pitch is at 7:10. D-backs pregame show is coming up next. And don't forget, the rest of the season, after tonight, we got 9 more D-backs games for you for free in primetime right here on 12 News. The D-backs are back here at home, and the D-backs baseball is back here on 12 News. We'll be right back.
So on 12 News, the Diamondbacks are coming up, but we have a lot more on 12 Plus is coming up online.
That's right. The women's Final Four is coming to Phoenix this week. We've got to look at all the fan events around the valley and how local law enforcement is making sure that everyone stays safe.
And remember, 12 News is the official home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, so tune in at 7 p.m. home opener against the Detroit Tigers right here on 12 News.
And remember, 12 News continues 24 hours a day on 12 Plus. That's where you can watch any of our newscasts and other 12 News content whenever you want.
So our next half hour of 12 News at 6 will continue online on 12 Plus in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game.
The Valley is hosting the biggest event in women's college basketball.
Welcome back to 12 News at 6 this coming weekend. The women's Final Four is here, and plans are being laid out to keep everybody safe and make sure the event runs smoothly. 12 News journalist Tricia Hendricks has more.
Getting hundreds of thousands of fans in and out of downtown Phoenix safely takes months of planning.
Final Four, let's go, woo!
The NCAA Women's Final Four is finally in Phoenix. Talk about the excitement in downtown Phoenix.
Oh, it's so much different than just a regular Monday. You know, it's Final Four Monday. Everybody, you can feel it.
What a beautiful day to start the championship week for the women's Final Four. So
We ordered sunshine and we got it all day long.
Those in charge of hosting the very first women's Final Four in Arizona are ready.
We are going to roll out the red carpet for the premier mega elite women's sporting event in the world.
On Monday, public safety officials joined Phoenix City leaders overlooking Mortgage Matchup Center to outline their safety strategy ahead of championship week.
We partner with all of our agencies here in the state to make these events safe. We have longstanding relationships with making sure that we have the right resources and the right personnel in place to fulfill whatever the mission objective is.
I like to think of us as Championship Valley because we do such a great job hosting championship games, and we're going to do it again.
Mayor Kate Gallego says Phoenix is a women's basketball city.
We just hosted WNBA All-Star. The Mercury went all the way to the finals. Our college teams have had great seasons, whether it be Grand Canyon or the undefeated start for ASU and Molly Miller.
If you plan to navigate the downtown area during the events, there will be no shortage of no-cost, action-packed events.
A bounce where thousands of young people will dribble through downtown Phoenix in one of our most dynamic parades. We're going to have a wonderful concert Saturday night at Hance Park. You can see Grammy-winning artists for free. We're also going to have a bunch of givebacks to the community.
All this leading up to the game on Sunday.
If you can't get a ticket, please watch online because it's going to be a shining moment for the city of Phoenix.
If you plan to attend, city leaders tell us you should expect a heavy but friendly police presence throughout the week. In downtown Phoenix, Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Trisha, thank you. So far, UConn, UCLA, and Texas, they're all going to be here for the Final Four. TCU and South Carolina are playing right now for that final spot. And it's not just the games happening in Phoenix. There are free events for fans to attend all around them. Troy Lynch at Mortgage Matchup Center with a first look at the Final Four court. Troy.
No, Phoenix is definitely the place to be whenever it is a big event. And the first time for the women's Final Four to be here at the Mortgage Matchup Center and take a look at the court, it is not disappointing whatsoever. It looks absolutely fantastic. So if those 4 teams that are still fighting for those 2 remaining spots needed any extra motivation, here it is. But like we said, it's going to be the most fun week ever. There are so many different free events that we need to talk to. So we need to talk to Jay Perry, the CEO of the Women's Final Four. Jay, thank you so much. It's an honor to get to talk to you because I feel like anytime you do talk, big things happen. And obviously, first time hosting the Women's Final Four, how amazing is that?
We are so excited. We've been working on this for 18 months with the NCAA. Troy, it is here. It is happening. It is Monday morning. Let's go. It's game time.
You're bringing the energy all week long, but I want to just ask you a personal question because I know you've worked in the front office for the Phoenix Mercury and also the WNBA. So just bringing this sport here in the biggest stage for women's college basketball that is so popular right now. How cool is that?
You know what? It is so cool. I mean, it's a special moment for Phoenix and for Arizona. This community has always supported women's basketball from my days with the Phoenix Mercury, but it's at a whole nother level now. And we want to make sure that these premium college athletes just have this phenomenal experience when they get to Arizona, right? Many of them haven't been here before. They've been working on this for years. And so this is a special moment for them, and we want to make sure we really roll out the red carpet.
And you're doing that for the fans, too. I mean, I feel like all week long, there are so many cool events. What are you excited for? What should people know?
You know, starting on Thursday, it's free fan events all weekend long, all ages. There's absolutely something for everyone. Tourney Town opens at the Phoenix Convention Center, and it's free, right? And so it's going to be like games and autographs and activities and food. And then for the first time, because we always like to do things for the first, there's going to be the For It All Fest, which is an outdoor tailgate outside of the convention center. Again, it's free. There'll be viewing of the Final Four games. There'll be food trucks. There'll be music. There'll be a basketball court. And if you haven't looked outside of Mortgage Matchup Center to see that enormous bracket, this is the first time ever that we're doing it with the Women's Final Four. And so it's bigger than life. And that just kind of speaks to how important this event is to our community.
And can you remind the people when the games are supposed to be?
The games are on, the semifinals are on Friday. Yes. They tip off at 4 o'clock at Mortgage Matchup Center. And then on Sunday is the championship game. And that's going to be right around noon tip-off, so it cannot be missed. It'll be on all the ESPN, ABC channels, but it's going to be a phenomenal week for our residents. And we expect visitors from around the country, but also around the world to descend on Phoenix starting the middle of this week.
You guys do it so right. Well, Jay, thank you so much for your time. We are so excited for how amazing this week is going to be. You're already bringing the energy, so we're all hyped up for it. But guys, fantastic week. Women's Final Four, it's officially starting. We find out who the other two teams are going to be playing in it tonight.
All right, big weekend for Phoenix, Troy. Thank you. All right, meteorologist Lindsay Riley is joining us now with our weather impact forecast. And Lindsay, it was so gusty yesterday. I even got a little bit of rain at my house as well. Those winds going to stick around, and also the rain?
Yeah, actually both will. For the high country, we actually have wind advisories posted for tomorrow. So tomorrow is actually going to be even windier, gusts up to 45. We do have some showers on the radar right now, most of which out across eastern Arizona, but Casa Grande has also gotten some rain this afternoon. We're all seeing a lot of cloud cover, which will also stick around into tomorrow. Here's a few of those heavier downpours down across Pinal County. A couple light showers knocking on the door of the West Valley right now. You might see a raindrop or two, but overall, it's going to be a pretty dry evening tonight here in the valley. Despite the clouds, we did make it up to 95 degrees today. It's currently 92. We have another day in the 90s tomorrow before temperatures drop back to the 80s for about 3 days in a row. We're a few minutes away from sunset. We stay in the 90s through the 7 o'clock hour and then drop off into the 80s between 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow is going to be a windy day. Those are windy icons for the high country. Gusts up to 45, a late day shower from I-40 all the way up to the Utah state line. Definitely a possibility. Lower deserts stay dry. At times more clouds than sun. Here in the valley, we have increased to a 20% chance for a shower mainly on Wednesday morning, and then we dry right back out. But this cloud cover and this chance for rain, it's going to bring us 3 days in a row with temperatures in the 80s before we heat things back up for Easter weekend. Troy?
All right, Lindsay, thank you. We have an update on a story we've been following for you. Tempe police are investigating after a 22-year-old man was shot and killed right in downtown Tempe on Mill Avenue. It happened just after 2 a.m. on Saturday. Officers found Jacob Jamie shot right near 5th Street, taken to a hospital where he later died. A second man hurt during that incident. His injuries were not life-threatening. Police say there's no ongoing threat, though, to the community. A new proposal to add water to the Colorado River calls for a nuclear-powered desalination plant in California. Sounds far-fetched, but 12 News journalist William Pitts explains why the plan's authors think it's more than possible.
When it comes to getting more water to the Southwest, we've heard a lot of wild ideas, like digging a canal from Arizona all the way over to the Mississippi River, maybe even lassoing an iceberg in Alaska, bringing it down to California and melting it there. So really, nuclear-powered desalination doesn't seem so far out there. What if we could fix the Colorado River? Not just use less, but give it more water. Turn seawater into river water.
If we could create replacement water in those resource areas, then we could keep more of the water upstream and restabilize the reservoirs like Lake Mead and Lake Powell.
Ben Burr isn't talking about a paper deal to swap water rights or water credits. This would be wet water pumped all the way to Arizona. It would mean pumping water hundreds of miles and running power-hungry desalination plants. Burr's solution, through his group called Blue Ribbon Commission, is to go nuclear.
Combining it with nuclear really lowers the cost and actually increases your power delivery for other things that you don't need at all just for the desalination plant.
The proposal calls for any type of power, really, solar, wind, whatever. But small modular nuclear reactors are starting to be rolled out, though right now there's only one in the world that's actually running. This is a rendering of one that's planned in Europe. These are reactors the size of small buildings, not the giant cooling towers you're used to. And they would power the desalination and the pumps to generate more clean water.
Pacific on tap.
We toured the Carlsbad desalination plant a few years ago. It takes in seawater, passes it through a series of filters, and produces clean water. Too clean, actually.
We actually have to put minerals back into it to create hardness for flavor and taste and color.
Desalination hasn't really caught on in California for a couple reasons. There are environmental regulations, and the water it produces is more expensive than other sources.
The Carlsbad plant is some of the most expensive desalinated water on the planet. And it's because it was built in full compliance with the California Environmental Regulatory Code.
And nuclear power aside, that's what Ben Burr's bill would really do, eliminate those regulations, because the desalination plants would be on federal land or even on federal water.
That'd be like your military bases, lands that are exclusively owned by the federal government in those coastal areas. The government doesn't have to be subordinate to state of California regulations.
It's an uphill climb to be sure. Burr's rough estimate is $40 billion, but 3 entire states with tens of millions of people would get the water. Burr says that's worth the price. William Pitts, 12 News.
Well, thank you. After more than 6 weeks without pay, a Phoenix TSA officer says that relief has finally arrived. Andrea Connolly and her husband, both TSA employees, confirmed that they have now received 2 full paychecks after going 44 days without income during the partial government shutdown.
It brings a lot of stress to, like, what are we going to do if we didn't have these jobs? We can't afford our house. We can't afford, we have so much to lose.
That was Connolly speaking to 12 News on Friday, the same day that President Trump announced that he would sign an executive action to restore funding to the TSA.
Ahead on 12 News at 6 on this Money Saving Monday, this spring could be a good time to buy a home in the Valley. We'll tell you why when we come back.
"12 News Valley Cam, sponsored by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Valor, dedication, sacrifice. Members of our military make a positive impact on our communities long after they take off the uniform. That's why Simplify Heating and Cooling is proud to join 12 News in honoring those who serve. We're seeking nominations for those who inspire, who give, and who protect. Share their story and help us shine a light on their selfless service. Nominate your hero today at 12news.com/those who serve. Let's celebrate the brave men and women who give so much for our freedom.
It's Money Saving Monday, and if you're looking to buy a home, this spring could bring some opportunity for you. It's peak season in Arizona, and in many neighborhoods, it's a buyer's market. 12 News journalist Tricia Hendricks has more.
When rates climbed past 7%, many buyers walked away. But U.S. Army veteran Jose Dominguez didn't blink.
That didn't concern me because I'm a veteran and I got my loan through the VA. About 4%. Saving money is my motto. So it worked out real good.
And while Jose reaped the benefits of a VA loan, standard mortgage rates have stayed relatively steady for the past year, hovering around 6.5%. Corey Mishkin with Cambridge Properties says buyers on the sideline should take the leap.
Talk to a great lender, try to find the rate and the loan product that's right for you.
Even a small rate shift has real impact on your monthly payment.
Every $100,000 is going to add about $50 to $60 if the rate goes up 1%. So if you can act now, that allows you to have a much greater buying power.
And deals are out there. New home builders are motivated, offering closing cost coverage and rate buydowns. On existing homes, you can sometimes negotiate those costs into a lower rate.
Even by historical standards, right now is still going to be some all-time pricing when it comes to mortgages, even if we're in the 6%, or if you can find them in the 5s, it's great.
One more thing to know, Arizona's housing market peaks in spring, not summer.
There's nowhere in the world that's going to have better weather than Arizona in the springtime.
For Jose, his new home near 12th Street and Bell Road checks every box.
I like my nice little yellow house. I can walk to Fry's. The bank is within walking distance, Verizon, my gym, Target. Everything that I need is very handy and easy to get to without having to use my car.
In Phoenix, Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is back with our weather impact forecast.
And Lindsay, after all these 100-degree days, we could finally get down to the 80s.
Yeah, it's going to feel real nice. We should be at 82, and while we are dropping down into the 80s, we're still going to be in the upper 80s. So all this week, once again, above average, but at least we don't have triple digits this week. As we look to the radar right now, a couple light showers out across eastern Arizona. We've had a pesky thunderstorm right over Pinal County. You can see some of that lightning there. As we zoom in closer to the valley, you can see that storm now east of Casa Grande. A couple light sprinkles possible over the next 15 to 30 minutes out across the West Valley. But in terms of rainfall for us this evening, it's going to be very few and far between. Maybe a raindrop or two and then drying out. We do keep the clouds, though, overnight. But despite the clouds tomorrow, we're still going to hit 94. So those 80s move in beginning on Wednesday, and we'll have them for 3 days in a row. It will be a cloudy day out in western Arizona, a windy day up in northern Arizona tomorrow with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. They'll be blowing in from the southwest to the northeast. We're also tracking some rain chances. Here's that next storm system moving onshore into California over the next 24 hours. And by Wednesday morning before sunrise, that's when the radar is going to fire up a lot of shower activity, and Wednesday morning will be our best chance here in the valley to see a little bit of light rainfall before by Wednesday afternoon that batch of rain pushes to the east, and then we're quiet for the rest of the week, and we're going to warm things up again for the weekend. As far as rain totals are concerned, there could be a couple very localized spots up in the high country that see anywhere from a half of an inch up to an inch of rainfall. But as you can see, the lower deserts, it's going to be tough to get much rain out of this. Less than a tenth of an inch for sure. And a lot of models beginning to project anywhere around 1/100th of an inch, which is what we picked up at Sky Harbor yesterday. In fact, you can see all of western Arizona is going to stay dry. Phoenix right on the cusp, and a couple elevation-driven showers and thunderstorms, which could deliver a little bit more localized rainfall to the high country. But you can see these are different model runs, their solutions through Wednesday, and you can see very light totals here in the valley. After our 94-degree high tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those temps will be in the 80s. We're back to the 90s again for the weekend. Up along the rim, we're at 71, mix of sun and clouds, breezy tomorrow, rain likely on Wednesday afternoon, and then drying out from Thursday through Saturday. Northern Arizona, this is Flagstaff. It's going to be windy the next couple days. Expect gusts around 45. Best chance for rain will be on Wednesday, drying out for the second half of the week. But some of those temperatures are going to be in the 50s, which we haven't seen too much of this month. You can see next week, though, in Flagstaff by Sunday and Monday, we're approaching 70 again. So things are going to warm up again. We'll see that same thing play out in the valley, back to the 90s this weekend and mid-90s next week. Caribe.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. Coming up next on 12 News at 6, gas prices are continuing to rise across the state. Find out how much you'll pay at the pump the next time you go. We'll be right back.
Well, if you filled up lately, you know it's not pretty. Today, the average price for a gallon of gas, regular unleaded here in Arizona, is now $4.67. That's up 10 cents from last week, almost $1.50 from a month ago. And here in Phoenix, yeah, it's worse. Gas just over 30 cents above the state average. We are a penny away, Caribe, from $5 a gallon gas. Yeah. This all comes amid the ongoing war with Iran. Today, President Trump delivered a new warning to the Iranian regime: make a deal or else.
And this message comes as more than 3,000 troops were deployed to the Middle East. NBC's Melanie Zanona has more.
1 month into the war in Iran, and President Trump sending mixed messages on the next steps in the conflict. Today, threatening civilian infrastructure in a post on social media, writing that if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, he will obliterate that country's electric plants, oil wells, and Iran's key oil export hub, Karg Island.
President Trump is going to move forward unabated, and he expects the Iranian regime to make a deal with the administration.
But the president also saying Sunday night that U.S. and Iranian negotiators are working on a ceasefire deal.
Well, they're agreeing with us on the plan. I mean, we asked for 15 things, and for the most part, we're going to be asking for a couple of other things.
Iran has denied any talks.
Talks are continuing and going well.
The Strait of Hormuz continues to be a focal point of contention, with 20% of the global oil inventory stuck there. Iran has essentially shut it down.
Now, they are making threats about controlling the Hormuz Straits in perpetuity, creating a tolling system and the like. That's not going to be allowed to happen.
President Trump, in an interview with the Financial Times, says he would like to take the oil in Iran and may seize Karg Island. All this as 3,500 American troops arrived in the Middle East this weekend.
It's the job of the Pentagon to create maximum optionality for the commander-in-chief. It does not mean the president has made any additional decisions.
And if the president decides to put American troops inside Iran, he would face congressional headwinds from Democrats and even some Republicans.
We cannot have American troops on the ground in Iran. This is going to be such a risky operation. And for what purpose?
If we're going to do a conventional ground operation with Marines and 82nd Airborne, that is a ground war that I believe Congress should have a say in. We should be briefed on.
Since the war began, oil prices have gone up and up, surging today to nearly $116 a barrel. That translates to higher prices at the pump for American drivers. AAA says the average now is $3.99, the highest since 2022. Melanie Zanona, NBC News.
We are just a couple of days away from the launch of the Artemis II mission, sending astronauts on a trip around the moon. Maribel Gonzalez has more on how Hollywood's newest blockbuster, Project Hail Mary, is helping to fuel the excitement of space exploration ahead of the launch.
I put the knot in astronaut. I've never done anything. I've never done a spacewalk. I can't even moonwalk.
Ryan Gosling, or Ryland Grace in Project Hail Mary, is a science teacher tasked with saving the world by leaving it and traveling to outer space. The sci-fi film hit theaters on March 20th, just ahead of a highly anticipated real-life space mission, Artemis II.
The movie provided a catalyst for bringing people together who might not ordinarily think about science.
This week, 4 astronauts will step aboard a spacecraft for the first human moon mission in more than half a century. This time making a 10-day voyage around the moon without landing on it.
Artemis II, in the days ahead, will send NASA and a CSA astronaut into the lunar environment, the first crewed step of the Artemis program to pick up where Gene, Harrison, and Ronald left off on Apollo 17.
Artemis II will take humans farther than they have ever traveled from Earth.
They're going to actually look at the dark side of the moon. They'll be there for 3 or 4 hours looking for places where eventually there might be landings on the moon.
One small step for what's to come for the future of space travel.
Do not go back to the moon just for the footprints and the flags. You must pick up where we left off more than a half century ago. Build the moon base, create an enduring presence.
Remember, 12 News is your home for Diamondbacks baseball. We have games we're broadcasting for you all season long, free in prime time, including tonight, the home opener against the Tigers. So again, first pitch will be at 7:10 p.m., about, 14 minutes from right now? Yeah. We'll be right back.
standing up to Taylor Swift, suing her over her latest album title, The Life of a Showgirl, saying that the title infringes on the title of her show.
Her name's Maren Flagg, and she trademarked the title Confessions of a Showgirl back in 2015 for live performances, writings, and digital content. Swift has applied to trademark The Life of a Showgirl, which is different than Confessions of a Showgirl.
It's not the same.
But it's been put on hold until all the disputes are resolved. Yeah. Coming up in just a minute on 12 Plus, a family story with statewide stakes.
That's right. One sister leads Arizona. The other two teach its kids. Tuesday, on Today in AZ, Governor Katie Hobbs and her sisters open up in a rare interview about where education stands in Arizona.
I think there's just such a narrow view of what public schools are.
Well, vouchers, school closures, and what they think about having a direct line to the governor. It's a story that you'll only see on 12 News.
Thank you again for watching our live extended newscast on 12 Plus. You can find so much more on our app, including 12 Sports special coverage and all sorts of local stories.
And we'll see you back here later on tonight for 12 News at 10. Thanks for watching, everyone.